So this article came out of nowhere where the California government put a bill into effect that forces, digital storefronts to pretty much tell you if you're going to own the product or if you're just licensing the product. So California forces digital stores to admit players don't own digital content. Currently, there is no provision in law to stop digital games being removed because a lot of these digital games can actually go away. I see the case that people make for having physical copies. However, physical copies can also be subject to that. They could be some kind of a license of sort. So that's something you have to be aware of because the physical key might just be, the physical copy might just be some sort of a key to download the item from a server somewhere. I've also seen some people talk about how, if you're on PC, all your games are digital and are subject to this particular paradigm. The reality is that's not the case. In fact, we have a storefront on PC that is actually, run by CD Projekt Red, and it's called the Good Old Games Store. Some of you may know it, some of you may not know it, but they've been here doing work for the longest time. In fact, when this law got into, effect, or when the news started to go around, they made a particular tweet. They basically retweeted the article from IGN, who's blocked here. And they said, if only there was a storefront that actually lets you own your games. And then they did a clarification and said, we've seen some discussions regarding this tweet, so let us clarify. When we said we let you own your games, we meant that no matter what happens, whether it's licensing issues, storefront shutting down, or even a zombie apocalypse cutting off your internet, you'll still be able to play them thanks to our offline installers. We want to ensure your gaming legacy is always in your hands, not ours. So this is true ownership of your games, as well as those physical games that behave the exact same way. So where you have the installation file coming on that physical media. In the case of, Good Old Games, you can download those offline installers. Basically, you can download the files to, install your games, and you can have those games in whatever medium you want. If you want to put it in, say, your own hard drive or, your own little solid state drive or whatever, and create your own physical media, that's also something that's possible to do. One of the things I plan on doing is going to my Good Old Games library and just getting all my, offline installers for the game that I have and put them on a little drive somewhere, because I do have a sizable number of games on there that I've purchased and in some cases retrieved over the last few years. Amazon also does a game giveaway via Twitch. If you have an Amazon Prime, you can get some games through that. And I've also been able to claim some of those games, and those games do come with offline installers. And some of them are games that are my favorite. Some of them are games that I wish I was able to beat a while ago, but they've now become backlog games, which is fine because now I think it's probably one of the best times to play a lot of the backlog, seeing how the gaming industry is on fire, literally. The Arkham games, those are the ones that really, in fact, it's super worth it, just for me anyways. Just for the Arkham games. These are my favorite games of all time, and they have City, Asylum, and Night, and Origins. They actually have all four of them. I think I finally got the entire collection here. I haven't beaten these. And then the Lego Batman games, perfect for the, for those who like those particular kinds of legacy. Sleeping Dog, really cool game. Cyberpunk 2077 DRM free. The Witcher 3 DRM free. And then Horizon Zero Dawn DRM free, and then the Metro Last Light Redux I have here. And these Mortal Kombat titles from back in the day, MK1, MK2, MK3, guys, you don't know how big this is. These are some of the games I used to play on the Super Nintendo back in the day. I think there's a Mortal Kombat 4 somewhere. I don't know if Good Old Games carries the MK4. I know they carry the trilogy. And even with that, every other game that, you can come here and, check out on the store. New releases. They've now brought the Resident Evil original OG trilogy also here. Some games launched directly here, like Frostpunk 2. The library is not that big. I mean, it's big, but it's not like, what you're going to see in other places. However, it does fulfill the exact same thing when a game is actually here and if you're a PC player. And, this is just, one storefront that does this. And, because it's PC, the rules are just, in many cases, suggestions, and people can be pretty much roll how they wish to roll in a sense. So at the end of the day, this whole conversation about the licensing of games is a very interesting one. I would never condone piracy. I like to buy my products. Some people, find different ways to talk about it or justify it. To me, if the product is not available in the format that I want it, the product can go pound sand. If I'm willing to pay for a licensing fee, like say on Steam, then I'll do so. It's not really a big deal. And believe you me, which is weird though, some of you may or may not believe this, but I do have physical media, which is weird. I was looking the other day and I actually have the Deadpool Wolverine game. Like crazy. That was just weird. I did a little stunt at GameStop one time where I worked there as a holiday help. And one day I was organizing games and I saw the Deadpool Wolverine game and I saw like a Spider-Man game from back in the day. And I was like, what is this? They were like, oh, I think somebody must have missed. I just asked my manager immediately. I was like, can I purchase these? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, please. And immediately I bought them on the spot right there. And those kinds of physical media too are very nice to own, in the grand scheme of things. So if you're building a digital library and you're wondering if you can actually get something of such on PC, this is the Good Old Games thing is just right there. All that to just make that video and you can actually get it. Let me show you something that's really cool on Good Old Games. And I think you're going to like me. Yeah, I think you're going to like this particular thing. You're welcome. Cyberpunk 2077 went through 2 iterations, right? The 2 iterations that it went through were like the first version of the game, and then there was a patch that then, kind of got the game into version 2.0. Do you know what's crazy about it is CD Projekt Red, they left the legacy version of Cyberpunk 2077 here on the Good Old Games version. Legacy, Cyberpunk 2077 Legacy 1.63. So this particular version, you can actually still go back and download. It's a big file, but you can download it and you can install it. And if you want to, install the new versions, patch 2.1 and all the others, you can also do that too. But that's actually nice because you can now go back and you can still play the old, Cyberpunk or the OG Cyberpunk 2077 that launched. That's something that's actually pretty cool with the way they actually do their games. I think if they stay here long enough, a lot of different studios are going to start looking into this proposition with their games. I think it takes a long time for this kind of stuff to, permeate the gaming industry, but the work that they do here, I really like to support them. Like I rethink every purchase. Like I'm like, is there a Good Old Games version? Especially when I'm trying to buy old games, I go check for the Good Old Games version, and almost inevitably I buy the Good Old Games, the GOG version. I think it's also going to influence my purchase of my next handheld because Steam, I don't want to install Windows on my Steam Deck. I don't want to go through all that. And I also want a Rogue Ally, but I'm not willing to give them that money for it yet. So once that time comes to play, my Good Old Games library is going to be almost exclusive on that particular handheld. But who knows? It may not happen, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys so much. Just thought we'd talk about this real quick. Peace out.